Alrighty, how's it going guys? Andy here and welcome to part 2 of my mini tutorial series entitled Online Arbitrage for Beginners. Now in this episode we're really going to get into the process of reading and understanding the data. This is the essential part of making money through fulfillment by Amazon. Get good at this part and you can make yourself some serious money on an ongoing basis. Now, as you will see from the next clip, I will be using the FBA Wizard software just to generate a few leads to click through so I can explain the process. You do not have to use FBA Wizard. It can all be done manually. It's just FBA Wizard is a lot quicker and a lot more efficient. It means you can scale a lot more and you can hone in on the good deals straight away. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this. Be sure to watch all the way to the end because at the end there is an option where I can help you further. Alrighty, let's get cracking. So for the sake of this example, I've just done a very basic scan in the toy category at Argos, just so we can generate some results to make some examples. Now you can filter the results by return on investment, profit, sales rank, all sorts of other metrics which will help you narrow down the most valuable items to buy. Obviously, the lower the sales rank, the faster the item is selling. Now, this time of year, we're in December, we're right in the middle of Q4 when people are buying for Christmas. So there's some slightly odd scenarios happening here. You'll see a lot more listings with this NBB, which means no buy box, where basically demand has outstripped supply and the price has just gone up and up and up. Now this can give false readings, so you have to understand the process, you have to understand the data and what's actually taking place here. So rather than just letting the software do its thing and blindly choosing items based on numbers in boxes, you can create a bit of a story in your head and understand what's going on to be able to quickly put one aside and say, okay, that may be looking good, but it's inflated prices. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get those prices. Like this top one here, for example, we've got 125% return on investment, which is very nice. It'll cost you £80, and after the fees, you're going to be making £100 profit. Now, straight away, we can see there are only 2 offers on here, so very little available, which tells its own story. There's no buy box, which often happens when demand outstrips supply, and Amazon tries to do that to level the playing field. Doesn't always work. What I love about FBA Wizard is you actually have the data analytics tool embedded here, so you can very quickly get a snapshot of what's going on with the data whilst scanning down here. You've got camel, camel, camel where you can click through, but you can also hover over keeper here, and very quickly you can see that in actual fact the sales rank is drifting and the price is shooting. This tells me very quickly the supply is running out quickly. Amazon have dropped off since just after the beginning of December, which means the third-party sellers have moved in and very quickly the price has shot. You can see in purple there, I'll try and zoom in so you can get a better look. The purple is the marketplace new price. Actually, let's click through and have a look. So I've just clicked through so we can get a closer look. As you can see, Amazon was in stock until the 3rd of December, so relatively recently, and they were selling at $64.99. And then since they sold out, the third-party sellers have got in. It's jumped up a little bit to 92, and there's been some sales there, and then shot up from 92 right away up to 175. 192 and all the way up to 225. So that's a massive price difference. And even though this may be the only place where you can buy it, it doesn't always mean that the buyers are going to tolerate such a massive price hike. And you can see by the sales rank here, the more sales, the lower it is. You can see lots of sales here because the line is very close to 0, which means lots and lots and lots of sales. If we move in a bit and go into the month view, we can see many, 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 many sales here. So much sales, it's just bang on, really close to 0. And as Amazon drop off and as the prices shoot up, you can see the sales rank goes up and up and up, which basically means there's no sales. As time goes on, this is the time scale here, going this way, time goes on, and then the rank goes up basically because there's no sales. As there's no sales, the rank goes up and up and up. and there's possibly one sale here. So these figures might be impressive, but all it is market forces artificially inflating the price, and it doesn't necessarily mean you will get sales. So you have to examine this data and make your own decision. Supply and demand works to a point, but if the price is just too high, you can't guarantee you're going to make some money. It will tolerate higher prices, but you need to see in the sales history that people are buying, and it's just not in this case. So if we go back to our FBA Wizard results, I would quickly discount this one and say, okay, it's 125% ROI. It's a very healthy profit, but that chart I would quickly move on. I would hover over that and say, no thanks, it's not for me. The figures say yes. The data, you could argue the data says buy. If you understand the data more, you're not buying that one. So what's the story with the next one? Another really good rank here. Another really good return on investment as well, 120%. You're spending 15, you're getting 18. Great return on your investment. Really good rank as well, 5,500 in toys and games. This is the weight, and it means it's light, which means usually it will probably be smaller. You can check the size. It's important to understand the size as well, because if you're sending it into FBA, if it's too big and you can only fit 3 or 4 items in one box, it's going to cost you more to ship it into FBA, into the Amazon Fulfillment Center. And that's going to have an impact on your profit. In this case, it wouldn't make too much difference. But if you're only making, say, £5, a pound out of your profit is going to make a reasonable dent. So it's just something to be aware of. So if we hover over on the keeper graph again, we can see the price looks relatively stable. It's not shooting up, but also the sales rank looks pretty stable as well, which means it's good, consistent sales with good, consistent prices, which is a thumbs up in both areas for me. So I'd look at this further. So as we can see, the buy box is still available on this item. And here it is over here on the right, and it says add to basket. That's your buy box, which means this guy here, who currently has the buy box, will get the money. People are conditioned to using the buy box. So it's obviously a lot more advantageous to be the one who has the buy box. If you match this price, you'll be sharing the buy box, as I said before. Every other person that comes to buy will buy your item if you're sharing it with just you and this guy. It's a good position to be in. So let's have a look at the keeper graph now in a bit more detail. You can hover over this statistic item and see since November, the seller rank was 74,000 and it's gone down to 9,500 in the last 30 days. That's what you expect to see in Q4 over the Christmas period as something gets a lot more popular. We only have data for the last 30 days here, so it doesn't tell us everything that's going on, but we know in the last month the prices have stayed relatively consistent and the sales have certainly stayed consistent, which means the buyers are prepared to pay this price because they're still selling a lot of items. At this rank, there's multiple sales a day. Now, this is a FBA Wizard widget that estimates the sales. You can't guarantee this at all, but it gives you an indication of how many items might be selling. And this is a rough estimation of 150 sales per month, which might be a little high, but ultimately it gives us an idea that it's selling a lot. And this guy only has 3 left in stock. So without being too detailed, we know that this guy isn't hanging around. By the time we buy this and send it in, this guy's already gone. In fact, the next few people are probably already gone. Let's click through here where it says 9 new and see how many other sellers have got this item. So as we can see here, a merchant seller actually has it cheaper, but because FBA gets priority, the FBA seller actually has the buy box over and above the merchant seller, even though he's more expensive. And look what we have here. Surprise, surprise. We have a relatively new seller with only 2 ratings, which means he's not been doing this very long, and he's undercut by 1 penny. The undercutting hasn't actually worked because the guy here at 48.94, who has 25 ratings and probably been around a little bit longer, has actually taken the priority over the newer sellers. And Amazon has actually let this one take the buy box, which often happens when you've got some new sellers. Someone who has more selling history on a listing may get the buy box over the newer sellers. But here is a good example of the undercutting, what's happened. We've gone from 48.94, 90, and someone's come in 89. It's drifting, drifting, drifting. All this does is promote more and more undercutting. Luckily, this is a particularly fast selling item. This guy is not even getting the buy box anyway, so it's not too much of a problem. And it's so fast selling. Again, this guy's going to be gone, this guy's going to be gone, and eventually this guy will be gone as well. So this could be your base price, but you could even be pushing out further with higher prices towards 50 and 55 pounds by the time you get in there. Maybe you might sell a few at this price, but you could be pushing the last few up towards this price. So it's always worth thinking, as and when your competition sells out, you can push the price up. I wouldn't recommend skyrocketing like in the first example, because that just pushes the buyers out, but you can slowly increase the price slightly based on what the price has been in the past. As we can see here, the price has been up to £64 in the past, and there has still been sales. So you know that the market will tolerate some higher prices. So you can base your pricing based on previous data. This is what I'm talking to you about. Using the data to make your decisions. That's when you can build a sustainable business, not by guesswork, by using the data to make comprehensive and effective business decisions. So hopefully you can see there's more of a story going on oftentimes, and by using the charts and using the data, you'll get a better idea of what's going on. Alrighty, I hope you have found that tutorial useful and a good insight into understanding the retail arbitrage process. Hopefully you'll be able to see that there is a lot of potential using Amazon FBA as a business model. And in fact, the toy selling niche is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many different business sectors that you can make use of, from used books to electronics, beauty products. The same process of understanding and reading the story behind the data applies. And if you get good at that, then really there is no limit to the profit that you can make. It's infinitely scalable because Amazon will be doing the fulfillment on your behalf. So all you've got to do is get it over to them and they'll handle the rest. So if you found this useful and you would like to learn the whole process from start to finish, my live coaching course is actually starting next month. Registration closes on Monday the 19th of February, and then we'll be getting started. This is the same course content that I teach in London, the same one that I held back in the summer when I invited Reezy Resells to come over and help me with that course. This one is done online, so people from America and other countries can get on this without having to travel to London. So if you think this is something for you, head over to fbaacademy.com and see for yourself. The link is in the description box below, and you can click on this video that will explain all about it, and that green button there is where you can book your place. It's a series of live 1-hour coaching sessions, and it usually goes on for around about 2 weeks, but it does depend on how many questions I get as we go along. You'll get your own webinar login link where you can come into the training room. We'll be going through each class live where you can interact with me and ask questions. You can even get on the webcam and we can chat face to face if you need to. But we'll be doing it as a group, and if you can't make any of the live sessions, a replay will be available in your own members area 24 hours afterwards. So at the end of the course, you will have a complete set of recording videos available to you for life that you can refer back to. You can do this on your own, absolutely. I've put out plenty of videos now with help and support that's freely available on YouTube. But if you want the complete step-by-step solution with my personal help and support, then this course gets results every single time. Alrighty, so that pretty much covers everything. Give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video and got something out of it. I would appreciate that. And if you're not already, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as that bell icon, because that will give you notifications each time I upload another video. Alrighty guys, thank you very much for watching. My name's Andy Lawrence, and I will catch you on the very next video. Bye for now.